it going. Here we go. This is apparently a 20-minute video, so we're probably not going to be able to react to all of it. But this video has to do with Expedition 33, which has hands-on gameplay preview, which I'm actually really excited for. And you guys know I've been talking about Expedition 33 since it was first announced. This is probably one of these games that I'm absolutely shilling for. I'm not going to lie to you. But I'm trying to remain as objective and also as cautious as possible, because no matter how excited I am for this game, anything could happen, right? Literally anything could happen. But I am a huge fan of turn-based RPGs. I feel like this game is going in the direction that Final Fantasy did not want to go. And I've always wanted Final Fantasy to be a modern day version of its older self, if that makes sense. Modern graphics, modern storytelling, modern mechanics, but not necessarily action combat. I like turn-based combat, and I know some people don't, and that's okay. That's okay. So let's check this out, and let's see what this is about, because this game, not just, keep in mind, this game doesn't just have turn-based combat. It has portions of it that are like action combat. For example, it has a parry system. So if you are quick and you are able, you will be able to parry attacks with the parry button, obviously, if you time it right. So there are aspects to it that are not just turn-based. So it makes it very interesting. It's almost like a good combination between the two. But anyway, let's go.
I have had the pleasure of playing Sandfall Interactive's upcoming RPG Clair Obscure Expedition 33, and I am absolutely thrilled to be able to share that experience with you all. But before we go any further, this demo that I played, this build was specifically for this preview, so the footage you might see, various things I may speak of, might change when it gets to the final release. So with that all being said, what is up, guys? Jen here. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to...
Wait, what the fuck was that? Hold on. Go back. Hold on.
Final release. So with that all being said, what is up?
What the fuck? Dude. Well, what is going on here? This guy is blood covered all over the place. Check that out.
Guys, Jen here. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to the channel. As always, got your covered timestamps down below. So if you want to skip to a certain section of this video, feel free to do so. All I ask is for you to support the channel and hit the like button. And if you want to stick around for some more Clair Obscure Expedition 33 content, then please consider hitting that subscribe.
They're covered in blood too. You know, when I had in my mind what a modern Final Fantasy would look like on modern consoles back in the day, I imagined it to be something like this. Like I imagine, you know, when they moved to action combat, I never saw that coming. I really felt like, I don't know. What I'm seeing here is what I imagined a modern Final Fantasy to be like, with the same kind of modern menus that show up next to the character and whatnot. I don't know.
Subscribe button. Now you're probably asking, Jen, how much did you play? What did you get to play? Well, we played a little later in the story with a little bit of content.
You saw that parry skill? Hold on, let me show you again. Look, watch.
To play. Well,
see, you could parry. You got perfect parry right there.
We played a little late.
Another perfect parry.
In the story with a little bit of context, which I'll go over in a minute. And this demo was estimated to be around just over 3 hours. But of course, I put in the extra hours because I wanted to dive in deep. And in a nutshell, I thoroughly enjoyed what I played. It looks very promising, and I'm pretty damn excited for the final release. So let's dive into the story and allow me...
I saw a little black kid. at Smoke. This guy does not look like this in game. His in-game model does not look as refined as the, but it is cinematic, so obviously.
Need to set the scene. Soon she'll wake and paint again. Paint a new number, ticking down every year. One stroke and every one of that age vanishes into nothing. Every year she paints, and every year an expedition departs for the continent with one hopeless mission.
I love the concept of the story, where some enigmatic figure paints a new number, and that new number, everybody will die of that age. And so an expedition goes out to try to stop that from happening. I think that's a fucking fantastic concept for a story. Very interesting. It can either fall flat on its face or it can be very good depending on how they do it.
Destroy the paintress so she can never paint death again. Now, for where this demo actually takes place, Gustav, Lune, and Mael departed Luminaire as part of Expedition 33, beginning their adventure as they leave behind the relative safety of their homes and they look towards the unknown dangers on the continent. Then an encounter with a mysterious white-haired man decimates the expedition's forces, and Gustav barely escapes. He awakens alone in an unknown place. What is the fate of Expedition 33? This is what we got thrown into, and I've got to say, I'm very intrigued. Some of the scenes that set up this story so far, I was like, whoa, what is going on? I am all in. But it gave us good context for where we started off this demo, and I loved everything about just the way this story was told through this section, from the characters.
Wait, look at this comment. A Cell Gamer says 33. Shit, I have to go. You cooked, bro. You cooked. The painter's coming after you. You're done. You are done. Just accept your fate.
I mean, we have Gustav. He is a resourceful and dedicated engineer, played by Charlie Cox. We have Lune. We meet up with her a little bit later. She's a passionate scholar and mage. And then finally, we meet up with Mael, a shy loner, and Gustav's foster sister. So there's a lot of story, and I'm sure there's a lot of backstory.
So Inferno Hell Knight says, what happened to the other 32? So I don't think it's counting from zero. I don't think it's counting from zero. I think it's counting. I think it just gives a random number. They don't know what number is going to show up when she paints it. It's random numbers. So whatever number she paints, everybody of that age is going to die within the year or something like that. If it's counting down, then I feel like they would know. The previous one was 34, so it's counting down. That's confirmed. That's interesting. That's interesting. I figured they would know, right? Like, if it's counting down, then surely if you know everybody who was 34 died, 0 will be the apocalypse. Okay. Oh, that makes sense. Okay. There you go. Story solved.
There that we'll experience as we go into the final game, but there was little things along the way that added to story that I really liked. There were previous expeditions, diaries.
What a wild story concept then. So what number did it start from? 100? Like what number? Does anybody know what number that the paintress started at? Was it 100? 99? Something like that?
Laying around where you would read and see how their expedition came to an end or what they were building towards, and it just added to the overall world of Clair Obscur Expedition 33. I thought that the cutscenes that I experienced were written pretty damn well, and they were voice acted superbly.
I am not letting Mael die out here. I'm taking her home.
What?
Cutscenes are good.
No. We have a mission.
Oh, fuck the mission!
Oh.
Fuck the mission, Lune.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do, huh? Tell me. What are we gonna do? We're gonna take down the paintress, just the three of us? My gun and your sparks?
I didn't take you for a coward.
I'm not a coward.
You swore the oath. When one falls, we continue.
This is pretty good.
I know.
When one falls. When one falls. Not if. When.
So that's all of it for the story. Let's dive straight into the gameplay, and I've got to start off with exploration, and I'm going to start off with the world map. I thought we were just doing a section through maybe a dungeon or like a set area, but no, I got to traverse out into the world map, and it felt so good.
This is reminding me of classic Final Fantasy, bro. What? You got a world map too, bro? That is awesome.
Secrets to find. It was just nice to get a scope of how big the world is. I think this is a world I'm going to have a lot of fun exploring, because what I got to do, there was locations that was not related to the story section I played I could go into. One of the area had this boss that just one shot all the time, and I'll go into that in a little bit more detail, because when it comes to combat, I managed to actually overcome that boss.
These enemies look so
quite exhilarating for me. But nonetheless,
quiz.
a world map to traverse, enemies along the way, little secrets, building bridges so you can get to other locations quicker. And I'm sure when the final game comes out, the fact that we can go across the seas and into the skies, it's going to be a world map.
I know for a lot of people, they may not see what the big deal is. But as like an old school Final Fantasy player, that I thoroughly enjoy the older ones, especially from like the PS1 era. Dude, having a world map like this where your character is smaller and you can explore and there's different like areas and whatnot you got to find and things like it just has the vibe. It has the vibe of a modern Final Fantasy. Like when I thought of a modern Final Fantasy, this is what I thought of. This is what I imagined in my mind. So I'm fucking bricked. I'm not gonna lie.
Experience that I've been wanting for so long. Another thing that it's thrown at us is that we can camp at any part of the game. It takes us into this one instance, and it looks like that this camp evolves over time with the story, meeting new characters. It looks like there's certain NPC characters that might join us or appear at the camp from what I've got playing through the demo. And this is a chance to talk to your comrades, and it looks like we can craft certain items here.
We're doing a little bit of a deep
stones
dive right now.
that allowed me to level up my weapons. But I could only do a camp, but there wasn't an option there, so I should imagine in the full game I can do that. So it just breathes more life into this game, and I'm really excited to just see more. As for just general exploration through the areas I got to experience, I have not experienced environments like this in, well, I can't really think. These are breathtaking environments, and I spent a lot of my time just panning the camera ever so slowly just to experience the beauty the game has to offer.
Holy shit, look at that. Is that the paintress singing, or is that just...
Now, these aren't just linear paths. We can go off the beaten path whenever we like. There are many places we can go. We have the ability to jump. We have a grapple hook. We can climb certain obstacles. So it really encourages you to not go to the main objective and maybe go.
I got to tell you, man, I am hoping that this game is a return to form for games like this. I really am. I genuinely am. I know a lot of people are trying to make comparisons to Persona and whatnot, but this just feels different. This feels like what a modern Final Fantasy should feel like if it was utilizing systems from some of the old school games. Return to form. I know I said the word. I said the phrase return to form. Oh, it's fucked now. It's fucked now. I said return to form. Fuck. That's not good.
Go off to another path and find an item or find a rare weapon. Heck, when the demo started, I noticed that behind me there was a small body of water with a waterfall, and I was thinking, surely they're not going to have an item behind the waterfall, are they? Straight off the bat.
I can see the
Turn
item
around,
right there.
went to the waterfall. What was there? There was an item. So I was sold that there was places for me to look in this game.
Bonus points if you go in the water and it wipes off the blood.
Nice.
Now, it's not just going to be items that meet you as you explore the off-beaten path. There might be bosses. There was a certain mine boss that I found that was really, really challenging. I got to beat it because I dove into these systems. But the fact that I can have a different experience down...
What in the creepy fuck is that? What in the creepy fuck is this? Looks like a Chucky doll. What is this? I was thinking Liza P too. Liza P.
Each path, and I never know what I'm going to find. Gets me very excited. You'll also come across various expedition flags as you explore these areas, and these act as like fast travel points. So for example, if you want to go back to the beginning of the area and grind against some of them.
I just saw two crazy comments. One person said they put a list into the game. The other person said Melanie Mac no makeup. Oh my god, dude. You guys need to repent for that.
monsters
Seriously.
there and then go back to the area that you're at just in case you felt a little bit under leveled. You can do that. This is
You need to
also a
fucking
good
repent,
place
bro.
for you to do upgrades and abilities. We'll go into that a little bit later, but I didn't find an option to save. Most of my experience when it came to saving with this demo relied on autosave. I didn't see a
It's a
hard
nice area.
save option. Whether that's going to change for final release, I don't know. I hope it does, because I'm one of those people, when I play an RPG, I save at least 3 times before.
So if this is this guy's gameplay, so that means that the game must run fairly well. Hopefully it doesn't release fucking broken or, you know, unoptimized or whatever the case may be. It seems to run pretty good.
Or I exit the game. You also have these.
Yes, this game releases in April. We are 1 month away. We are 1 month away.
Items as well that you replenish when you get to these exposition flags. You can replenish your elixirs, which allows you to completely restore the health of your characters, though you can only use this a limited amount of times, but you can refresh these when you get to those flags. This also applies to the items that you carry. At the moment, I only carry 3 of each item. I should imagine this is something you can upgrade throughout the game, because you have a potion that obviously heals health in battle. You have an item that heals your action points, and you have a item that revives in battle. But during this demo, I only had 3 of those, and they replenished every time I got to that expedition flag. All in all, I'm really excited to see where exploration takes me in Clair Obscur Expedition 33, with the combinations of these breathtaking environments and just going off the off-beaten path and finding just whatever, whether it's an item or challenges. I'm really, really excited to just get my hands and teeth stuck into more.
All right, what's with the weird fucking descriptions, my guy? Your hands and teeth stuck into. Come on. What are we doing? Why are you describing it like that?
It's forging something. So they have.
What is that? Is that a blacksmith? Oh shit, bro! He came out of nowhere.
Now on to combat. And combat, I'm going to just say this right out now. This is the most fun, intense battle system that I have experienced for a very long time. And they are indicators for me for a good battle system. Now, this battle system prides itself on its timing, and this is just one of the factors. So you can parry, you can block, you can jump. Nice. You can also enter certain commands as you do attacks to do additional damage, though there is an option to switch this off, but you can't switch off the parry and the blocking and the jumping. So you can't have it all easy. Now, at first, I was doing a horrible job of blocking, horrible job of parrying. But as I grinded against more enemies and really started to understand the attack patterns of bosses, I was blocking and dodging all over the place, and I felt so satisfied. So I thought to myself, hey, maybe I can parry, because when you parry, you return damage as long as you parry all of the attacks that they distribute in one action. And that window is pretty small, so you really need to learn. So my advice would be to practice by blocking and dodging at first, and once you get them patterns down and you've got a little bit of...
Yo, this comment right here is exactly how I feel, man, right here. Actually looks like a next-gen game, dude. That is what I am sincerely thinking the entire time I'm watching this. I'm like, this is a next generation turn-based game. Sincerely. And this is what I keep saying it, but this is what I think when I think of a modern Final Fantasy game that is not relying on action combat. This is what I'm thinking. All the way down to the combat, the mechanics, the way it graphically looks. Like this is what I think when I think of a next gen, turn-based RPG.
Confidence, go for that parry.
Comment.
There are a few enemies that have the mechanic of you needing to jump and then retaliate as you're in midair, but it works pretty snappy and pretty smoothly. Had no complaints about that. It was just...
I do hope that the parry system is skill-based. I don't want them to make it easy. If what he's saying is true and that it's hard to parry, that's a good thing, because that means you got to work at it. You got to get good at it.
having the testing of knowing enemies' attacks. And then enemies just threw a curveball at me because sometimes they'll have fast attacks and sometimes they'll have slow attacks. And it will say, etc. attacked slowly. So you know the pattern of the enemy, but now it's a little bit slower. So it really shakes things up and really keeps you engaged. And I love that. And this is, again, just one aspect of battles.
No, it's not Japanese. It's a French company making this game. That was sick. That was sick.
You have the ability to shoot the enemies. You will notice that certain parts of the enemy glisten, or there's very obvious weak spots. You can switch to a free aim mode to shoot those straight off the bat.
Get the fuck
and you're
out of
probably
here.
thinking, is that all shooting?
This shit's got an aiming mechanic too? He's got an aiming mechanic. That's crazy. That's pretty amazing, actually. So there you go.
Is useful? No, there's some enemies that are weak against this kind of damage, especially flying enemies. So it's just not.
Wait, what is this? This guy's actually doing this review pretty competently. I don't think anybody said he wasn't. Having hype, bombastic tone just wouldn't match the energy of the game. Sorry, he's not yelling and streaming for you guys. I don't know of anybody that was asking him to yell and scream. The only thing that we were making fun of was his choice of using teeth as like a descriptor. I don't. You good? I don't understand. Like nobody was complaining about this. I don't know. Okay. Anyway, moving on.
Not a one-trick pony when it comes to shooting. It's something that you can weave in and out of your battle strategy. Now on to the meat of the combat, the unique characters and their abilities. Again, in this demo, we got to play as Gustav, Lune, and Mael, and they all offer something different. And I was forever diving into these systems, mixing and matching and seeing what best suited the situation. And not only that, what suited me as a player. So Gustav has a battle mechanic called Overcharge, and your whole aim is...
Wait, y'all, look at that sword. Hold on, wait. Is that a reef on the fucking sword? Give me a second.
So Gustav has a battle.
This man's got a reef on the sword. It looks like the fin of a fucking. Look at that. The fin of a leviathan. That looks cool.
Mechanic called Overcharge, and your whole aim is to charge him up to the max to unleash some devastating damage. You can do this in various ways, and he definitely has some abilities that can buff him to make that attack even stronger. So your focus is trying to charge up at the right time and then unleash it at the right time, because you have the chance of breaking enemies, and if you have the chance of breaking an enemy, they are stunned, so you get extra turns. So you want to really think about when to use it. Now Lune, she was my favorite to play as. She has the stains. Every time you use one of her abilities, she has a palette, I guess you could say, of colors that will be added every time you use an ability. You'll notice in the description of each ability that it will do an additional thing if you have certain stains available. So you want to really be strategic in what spells and abilities you are using to then execute. Lune has a great ability off the bat that allows you to slow down enemies, but then I was mixing and matching her elementals as well to do some pretty insane damage, and it was really satisfying to dive into. And then I got to experience more abilities, and I had to take more abilities out because you only can pick up at 6.
So Gamer says, man, I have to agree with you, Hypnotic, that this is what I imagine turn-based JRPG games like Final Fantasy would be like in the future, when graphics get better and the tech gets so damn good that it allows us. The sad thing is that it could have been that now. Like Final Fantasies could have been like this now, but they chose to go after the action combat, which again, I'm not saying it's a bad combat system. I'm just saying it's not Final Fantasy, right? Like we spent how many Final Fantasies? 13 official Final Fantasy entries using a turn-based combat system, only for it to change in the 15th one. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, for me, the action combat is great and everything, but it's just not Final Fantasy. That's not what I've known that to be. But, you know, they're going to continue with it. Final Fantasy 17 is going to be action combat. I would almost guarantee you. You know, I would almost guarantee you. So that's just what it is, man.
So there's so many layers and layers, and I think we're going to see some incredible things out there of people trying to break the game, the best combos. These are systems that are going to be dived into so damn much. And then we finish off with Mael. She has fencing stances. So the ones I got to mess around with was an offensive stance, which increases...
I mean, Final Fantasy 16 was damn near fucking Devil May Cry with summons. That's genuinely how it felt. I'm not saying it was a bad combat system. Again, I found it to be at least entertaining in a way for what it was. But I mean, it was literally Devil May Cry with summons. That's how it felt. There were some points when I was playing Final Fantasy 16, I'm like, bro, I really feel like I'm playing DMC. You know, that's how far into the action combat they've gone. You know, they don't even have like a hybrid of it where you have action combat with maybe some turn-based elements here and there or something like that. It's not Final Fantasy, not what we've known anyway. And it's just, that's where they're going to go with it. So, but the good thing is that we have games like this that have turn-based combat that are trying to implement a true modern mix between turn-based and action. Because again, it's got an aiming mechanic, it's got a block, parry, dodge mechanic, and on top of that, it's still turn-based. So I think that's awesome. I think that's a good mix between two systems that when they're put together the right way, they can work together.
Damage, she has a defensive one, so she can reduce the damage that is given to her. And then she had one that I really love to use, which was the Virtuose stance, which increased your damage by double. So I was always going for the setup on that, making sure that she had a power buff as well. I ended up using an ability that is only usable when you're in that stance and doing some insane numbers. Honestly, I feel like the amount of time that I got to spend with this, and I'm planning on spending more and more and diving more and more into this.
It's the doll.
I feel like I'm only scratching the surface with what these abilities offer and the way I can mix and match them. Because combined with the dodging and the parrying and the jumping and then all of each the unique characters' abilities, and there's more characters coming in the final game as well. These are systems that everyone is going to have a good time with. And all of these battles, I did not find boring or tedious whatsoever. Now, one thing I did see personally, now I don't know if it's down just to the story aesthetic or just what they're going for, but I felt like a lot of the enemies looked samey, but this may be explained within the lore of the story. That's just a personal beat. It didn't really affect my playthrough whatsoever. And we have like a turn bar on the left-hand side that works a lot like Final Fantasy X did. It would be nice that if I was targeting an enemy that it would highlight on there, because it didn't. So when I was trying to use slow with Lune, I didn't know if I was targeting the right enemy, especially the enemies that looked the same. Apart from that, I had an absolute blast with the combat, and I'm excited to get my hands on it more. Before we finish up, I want to dive into menus and systems, because there's a lot here that really added to combat and how you tackle combat. You have upgrades. You can upgrade your attributes.
So we got stats, vitality, might, agility, defense, luck. I mean, this is a great breakdown. I'm gonna link this video in the chat after we're done. Dude, now I know who this fucking guy looks like. This guy looks like what's his name that played Edward Cullen or whatever in fucking Twilight, man. What's this guy's name again? That's who he looks like. That's who he looks like. He looks like Edward fucking Cullen, bro. What's the guy's name? God, I forgot his name. Patterson. Yeah, Patterson. Robert Pattinson. Yeah, he looks like Robert Pattinson.
Which affects your HP, your attack, defense, you know, all the usual.
You don't think he looks like Robert Pattinson, just older? Come on. Come on. I think he looks like an older Robert Pattinson. Come on.
Bells and whistles. You can spec this however you like and really shape the characters to how you want them. And you can get items to respec if you have made a wrong decision.
Look at Sonia correcting the way I say Pattinson or Patterson. Look at the way she's correcting me, as if she don't fucking mispronounce shit all the time. Like a typical Latina. Come on, stop.
There's also skill trees, so you learn more abilities.
You think I know these fucking actors' names? I don't celebrity chase. That's why I had to ask the fucking chat what the name was. And you're over here like, it's Pattinson, not Patterson. Get it right. I swear to God. I'm like, bro, I don't celebrity chase. I'm sorry.
When you get more abilities, you're going to have to relook at what you've got and see which goes the best with your play style.
Oh, I
Or
have the
just
message on the
experiment.
screen?
Like,
My
just
bad. Whoopsie.
experiment, because it's so fun experimenting to
Whoops.
see how OP you can
Whoops.
get in some of these battles. Then there's the weapons. I was a
was a
very
good comment.
happy chappy when I re-equipped a weapon and the look and the aesthetic of the weapon changed, because there was a few enemies that I went against that dropped random items. They offer...
Oh my God, exactly. This is Sonya right now. Look at this. Look. This is Sonya right now. She's pulling her Hermione. She's pulling her Hermione right now. Sonya's like, it's Leviosa, not Leviosa. It's Leviosa.
anything from an
So
increase
true.
of damage to even
so
elemental
true.
properties. So equipping certain weapons to help you against a lot of fire enemies, you might want to take a ice related weapon to help you out. There's also weapons that come with set luminaires that only activate when equipping that weapon. So there are reasons to go back to weapons if they offer luminaires that might benefit you. And what are luminaires, you may ask? They're passive
That's
abilities.
pretty similar to Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth, where you would unlock certain abilities if you maximize a weapon's level and stuff like that, and then you can carry it over as you equip a new weapon. So that's pretty cool. I'm okay with that.
Let's dive into that, because you get to equip something called Pictos, and Pictos are kind of like your armor slots, and you learn these passive abilities by equipping them, and then over time you get to keep that passive ability. So you want to keep re-equipping new Pictos, and then once you've learned an ability, which you'll know because the icon will change to a nice blue hue glow, you want to move on to the next one. And then what you can do is use Luminaire points to re-equip what you learned from other Pictos, so you can keep adding more and more passives as you go further and further in the game and get that level up, which is crazy because there's so many things, from the way you attack or status elements that might hit more, or the fact that you do more damage to an enemy when they're burning, and you can extend the time that burning is on an enemy. There's so many things that just add more layers to the combat, and you can get it all through the weapons and the Pictos. I was also pleasantly surprised that there was a costume menu. I dove into it. I could see the costumes that were offered, but I could also change the hair to the characters, and I actually got one of the hairstyles.
Oh, that looked cool. Whatever that last outfit was.
As a drop from one of the bosses. So that makes me very interested. It makes me want to check everything this game has to offer. If there's
so the bosses can drop outfits and stuff. Interesting.
an enemy that's over to the left, and I'm like, oh, that could be a strong one. If it's going to drop a hairstyle or a cosmetic that's going to make me look badass, I'm going to tackle it. But it could be a weapon, or it could be something else. So there was a lot of flexibility here and things to do in this demo of Clair Obscur Expedition 33, and I only played it for a limited amount of hours. So I can only imagine what the full game is going to offer. Honestly, I had a really great time. I'm all into this game when it releases, and I'm really excited to dive in everything it has to offer. Let me just touch on the music, because the music...
Look at the fucking map! Look at the overworld! Dude, oh my God, dude.
Been listening to the tracks they've released leading up to its release, but hearing some of the tracks in game and how they're implemented. Different areas have different battle themes. I was just enthralled. I was just loving everything, every moment. Just the range of tracks as well. It's not just dark and orchestral. There's some lo-fi beat type thing playing, and there's just so chirpy and quirky battle theme when I went against the mine. There's just such a range here. I think this is going to be one of the most incredible soundtracks we're going to hear this year. But that leads us to the end. I could talk on and on about it. If you have any questions, please ask them down below. There might be things that I didn't really touch on too much, but there might be things that
I'm bricked. I'm bricked. That's it. I'm bricked. But still cautious, because listen, it's a French company. They could pull all kinds of nonsense. They haven't shown anything yet so far, but they are French, and the French are sneaky. So you never know. I'm going to link the video. If you guys want to check out this guy's channel, pretty decent sized channel, 33,000 subs, got 1,500 views on his video. He deserves way more. He deserves way more views on his video. So if you go check out this video, leave a comment, tell him where you saw it from. Tell him where you saw it from. Leave a like, leave a comment. Do all the good stuff.